3, 2, 1. Stay gold. All right. For the topic right here, I think this will be a good one to bounce off of the previous video, which is titled Value the Job You Have Now. Because now it's time to talk about the other stuff. Basically, the things that you're working on the side, right? One of the main reasons a lot of aspiring business owners and a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs get a job is because, well, they need to put money into their careers, their entrepreneurships, whatever you want to call it. The business fund, simply put. You know, the money needs to come from somewhere. At least that's how I've looked at it, right? And of course, you need the cost of living. Something needs to cover that for now until you can make more money, right? So when it comes down to the stuff on the side, the topic is more so how to build up. You know, build brick by brick, right? Or build from the ground up. You want a strong foundation. This is why I'll say take your time, but also you want to always be making progress. Listen, days go by fast, weeks go by fast, months go by fast, all that stuff goes by fast. You'll blink and next thing you know it's been a year, 2 years, and time, it just flies. So with that being said, this is why I would say that you do want to work towards these things every single day, but no, you don't need to put the same amount of time into it. Right? You're not always going to have those 8 hours. People that tell you to always put 10, 12 hours into your side hustle or whatever every single day, they're in a different situation than you to where they can put that amount of time in. I'm telling you right now from experience, you're not always going to have those 12 hours. You're not always going to have the 10 hours, the 8 hours. Sometimes you just don't got it in you. Okay? Even if you're so driven, you just don't have it some days. Right? So it's okay if sometimes you put 30 minutes in a day, 15 minutes a day. That's 15 more minutes that you made of progress. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I care about. You know, it's really good to put 8 hours in, you know, basically a full shift's worth of work in, or 4 hours in, which is essentially, you know, part-time. It's cool to do all of that, but you're not always going to have the time. Nor are you always going to have the energy. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to do it, okay? So this is why I say building towards your goals, right? If you're doing it on a daily basis, put some amount of time into there. A half an hour a day is pretty good, if you ask me. The type of things I do, half an hour is no time at all. I need way more than that, but it depends on what you're doing again. If you're crafting something, it's probably going to take longer. Especially if you're really worried about quality. If you're writing something, if you're putting together some sort of flyer or advertisement or resume or something, it takes time. Everything takes time. The way that things are, the way things have been set up, and the thing with people and humans, it takes time. You can't just instantly just buff up and you're the biggest person in the room. It takes time. Years even. It's similar to this stuff right here. And when you're building up to your dreams, building up to your business, building a foundation, you want to make sure you lay those bricks right. And you want to make sure that you take the right steps to make sure that you have a solid foundation. If you have a weak foundation but a good building, that foundation breaks, the whole building's coming down. Versus having an unmovable foundation. The building can get knocked down, but the foundation will always remain. So you will always be able to rebuild. Do you see what I'm saying here? So when it comes down to building up your dreams and building up towards something, you always want to make progress, no matter how big, no matter how small. And that's what I think is arguably more important than trying to meet a daily quota. A daily quota is just going to stress you out. A daily quota is just going to make things seem impossible. A daily quota is going to end up demoralizing you. A daily quota is going to end up taking away any motivation that you may have had to do it, because you're not always going to meet that daily quota. You never know what you're waking up to. You never know what you're going to sleep from. And you never know what each day brings. You can plan for it, yeah, but plans fail. So I guess at the end of all of this, right, what I'm saying essentially is when you're building towards the things that you want, your dreams, that big want of yours, just make some progress here and there, you know? The last thing you want is to burn out or lose motivation, because then it's never going to get done. Because let me tell you, if you don't take anything else from this, when it comes down to your dreams, the only one that can work towards them is you. Even if you have a shared dream, all 4 people have to work towards it. But ultimately, it still falls on you. It can still become your dream. Only you can work towards it. Only you can make the progress towards it. So, with all that being said, as long as you're making progress, great example is a book. Even if you do a page a day or 2 pages a day, how many days are in a month? 30. You've just done 30 to 60 pages, and your first book, you want it to be like 250 pages or something. This is a random number. You can get that done by like halfway through the year, if not before then. Because like I said, you're not always just gonna do a page. Some days you might do 25 pages. There was one time I literally sat down one time, and it was during the summer. I was like 4 years ago or something like that. And I literally sat down and I typed an entire book in like a day. It was one of the stories that I was working on. And that was like the most work that I've ever done in a day as far as like writing and stuff. And it was like, how many pages was it again? It went from 32 to 37, 49, 64, 128, and 268. But yeah, it was 268 pages. And then as I worked on it more and more, it ended up being like 300 something pages. 325 pages, I think. If it wasn't 325, it was 225. But the point of the matter is, sometimes you just get that spark, that boost, that head start that just makes you go crazy. Some days you do, like, if you had to put it on a bar, right? If you had to rate it from like 1 to 100, some days you get like 50 points. Other days you get 20. Some days you get 2. Doesn't matter to me. I still made progress for that day. Was it minuscule progress? Yes. Does it take away from the fact that it's progress? No. So that's just something to think about. Anyways, take what you need, leave what you don't. Turn to gold.